Man, what's up, y'all? You gotta get some kind of control on yourself over here, brother.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. What's up, y'all?
How y'all doing, man? It's been a minute, but it's okay. You gotta take a little break. But we back. It's the Straight Talk Podcast. It's your boy Fella on the car phone, a.k.a. Joshua Tyler. Next to me is...
I thought it was going to hit harder than that. I thought you had something.
That's what I did have it.
Scotch with Josh.
Josh. Next to me, I got my boy Fella Rev Ro, a.k.a. Romero. How you doing today, Rev?
You a little flustered, son?
Nah, it's just been a minute.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm glad to be back, my boy.
Yeah. Shout out to the producer, Dario. Give us a hey.
What's up?
In the studio audience, let's get a clap. Yeah, there it is. Woo! Let's get the show back on the roll. So you know how we always do it. Question of the day. Of course, this is a segment of the podcast where I ask Rev to the left of me a question and give him a grade on his answer. I grade him based off of my personal preferences. 100% subjective. So please don't be upset by my grade. Please don't be upset by my grade.
It's probably bullshit.
And we won't have any issues because they're my grade. My grade is the grade. The grade is the grade. It ain't no changing back. I had a good grade for you last week. Man, I was ready. Because you was going to be caught off guard. I should ask you the same question, but it was a week old dude, so.
Go for it. You know you don't have one right now.
I don't.
That's why the grades is BS. He be coming up with these questions as he's introducing the segment.
More often than
not. So
it
can't be, there's no valid, whatever.
We might as well talk about it because it's the grade from last week. Okay. It's last week news. I apologize, but it was a good question. Is Draymond Green indeed...
Next
question. A fair question.
No!
It's not a fair question. But is he... I mean, he made the statement. Is he indeed the greatest defender of all time? What's your answer to that? Answer in the chat, by the way. What y'all think? Sorry, it's week old news. We missed the show last week, but it's still it's kind of an ongoing topic that can continue forever and ever.
No. Now let me say this. I think that confidence is key, right? So you should always feel like you're the best at what you do. To a fault. GOAT defender, I don't know about GOAT. If he were to say, I feel like I'm the best defender in the league, I probably wouldn't argue with that. You could put different metrics on that to say, you know what, that's fair. It's quantifiable. I'll give you that. But when it comes to declaring yourself the GOAT, I don't know how I feel about that.
You don't rock with that.
I don't know how I feel about that. And it's the only person I feel like that can talk like that. So LeBron said in the shop, he was like, after I came back 3-1 against that Golden State team, to me that solidified me as the GOAT. This is somebody that had already been in GOAT conversations for a long time. And that was, on paper, the best team in history. So I think that's fair. Your name has been circling around. You beat supposed to be the best team ever assembled. I think it's fair to say I beat that team for a championship, down 3-1, which has never been done. I think that cements me as not just being in the conversation, but being that guy. So people, I don't feel like really got mad at that because it's like, okay, well, that's fair. It's self-confidence, and that's a fair metric. But GOAT defender, don't get me wrong. Draymond got Defensive Players of the Year.
5-time all defense, first or second team.
LeBron has more.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Is he the better defensive player?
How many does LeBron have?
He's got like 8 or 9.
All defense?
I think. Yeah.
You sure?
Look it up.
Okay. Defensive player? Yeah.
no, he's got more than 5 though. He's got more than 5. Okay. I promise you.
You looked it up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Defensive Player of the Year though.
He's got 2.
Who?
Dre's got 2.
LeBron?
Draymond.
Got Defensive Player of the Year?
Twice.
Oh, he got it once.
Oh, Dre got it back to back.
He should have won it.
Well, shoot, that hurts your argument.
Yeah,
he got 1. Yeah.
So 1, he got Defensive Player of the Year once. 5-time All NBA defense.
Five-time. I will firmly say that I believe Draymond is one of, if not the best defender in the NBA right now. I'm totally okay with that. Greatest defender of all time, I disagree with that. Now, one thing, I will say about Draymond, and something he mentioned, just from the way he sees the game, he's more effective on defense in a lot of ways. Rudy Gobert can't do the same things on defense that Draymond can do.
This is what I will say.
And Rudy
of all the players that you can name, so like I was watching Skip and Shannon when they was talking about this. Of all the players that they named, like if you name Olajuwon, David Robinson, Shaq, if
the glove,
a lot of those players have these astronomical physical abilities that Draymond does not have. So I feel like that gives him a little. It's like I think. From the mindset, like he said, like his mindset wise, he probably has one of the more or the best defensive minds ever to play basketball because he's not 7 feet tall. He's not super strong.
That's fair.
He's not Shaq. He's not physically imposing on anybody to play defense. Like he named Dikembe Mutombo. Like you name all these centers, yeah, he's not gonna be able to block as much as Shaq. Like he's never gonna average as many blocks as Shaq. But as far as the defensive mindset, to be 6'6", 6'7", at the very most, not very fast. He's not a physical specimen in any way, shape, or form. But also, we consider him one of like if you even compare him to Rudy Gobert, who's like
Rudy Gobert doesn't even deserve DPO wise. He's garbage,
but he's just tall and he gets a lot of blocks and rebounds. He tall. That's what I'm saying. But so defensively, like. I would take Draymond over Gobert other than the fact that Gobert is just taller. But Gobert is almost finna get his 3rd Defensive Player of the Year.
Sorry, he's
washed. So that's my only point.
Ben Simmons should win it this year, by the way.
Ben Simmons. Cam says Tony Allen. I think I would take... I wouldn't take... Tony Allen, he's got the verbal... Kobe said he's the best defender. That's pretty much
KD said it. And those are two of the best offensive players to touch the court.
Right. So I think that's why you give the nod to Tony Allen.
In a way. Gary Payton.
In a way. Or Gary Payton. But even
glove. He was known for the strap.
But even with Gary Payton, again, like he's not bigger than Draymond, but he's definitely faster, like and quicker. Like he led the league in steals. Yeah, I agree. But he doesn't have that. Draymond is like, for the most part, he's physically, athletically, he's pretty average around the board. In the NBA terms, he's pretty average. No?
I don't know how I feel about that.
You don't know how you feel about that?
I don't know. I can see where you're going with it.
I'm coming.
I'm smelling what you're cooking, but I feel like we're downplaying Dre a little bit.
Okay, well, I might be.
You know what I'm saying?
Further my point. That's fair.
But okay, like.
But I don't know. I don't think. Like,
first of all,
but I do think it is important to speak on that to say like he's in this category with all these players that are like.
Let me note this though.
Physically, not.
They played Cleveland 4 times in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Who spent the time guarding LeBron more times than not? Not Draymond, who's supposed to be the GOAT defender.
It was Dre.
Andre is the one who spent most of the
finals MVP.
He got an MVP and still was getting his ass bust.
Yeah.
But he got an MVP for taking the challenge of LeBron and doing a decent job.
I think Draymond was guarding him too, though.
Not as much as Andre, clearly.
Yeah. He probably got guarding Kevin Love. He was probably a better matchup with Kevin Love. Yeah.
You know, so I feel like GOAT defender, one of the times it should have helped buff that resume. You played the best player in the world 4 times on the best stage.
Do you think Shaq or Dikembe would have been guarding LeBron either? That's the thing.
But Shaq,
we gotta look at
7 foot center versus 6'8", 6'9" small forward.
But Draymond's the center on the team.
But there
in that lineup, he's the center.
But there are rotations that could have been made size wise. He could have matched up with LeBron.
But Draymond and Andre wasn't guarding centers.
But
that's the
they
thing
had
we gotta
bigs though.
consider.
They had bigs.
But no, when they went
times,
to the Hampton 5 or whatever it was,
I know they
he
had
was
that
the
Hampton
center
5,
on
but
the
even
team.
before KD, you
Even
had
before
centers.
KD.
And even with Draymond didn't consistently play the 5. They put that lineup at times, but you had times where he wasn't playing the 5. You did not match up with LeBron.
We were best when he was at 5, and he was guarding the center. So what I'm saying is like
KD could have guarded the center.
If Shaq,
he does it now.
Dikembe Mutombo, all these Alonzo Mourning, all these centers would not be guarding
players
LeBron.
that wouldn't be guarding a small forward. Absolutely, they wouldn't.
But
you're looking at somebody that's 6'7",
he's the center,
small forward, power forward size.
He's the best at guarding the centers on the team.
You have Kevin Durant on that team who could guard the center.
We talking about before Kevin. We said before Kevin.
And even after, but before Kevin, that wasn't the Hampton 5 that you really worried about, because they had switchability. You had big men.
I get.
So I feel like he could be there one day. I feel like he has time. He's not declining.
Who, Draymond?
Draymond. He's got time to buff that resume, but I don't think
his best years are behind him. He's still young, but it's just like...
I mean, Tony Allen was still a hell of a defender when he was clearly a non-factor on the offensive end.
For whatever reason, he's not even a DPOY category, like running this year.
I mean, but to be fair...
It may just be because the team's not good.
I think team's not good, and that's hurt the last couple of years. Yeah. Recency bias can have an effect. So I feel like he can get there, but he was guarding the best player in the world.
That's what I get that he's a small forward, but he's not when he's in that lineup.
But all I'm saying is that lineup wasn't consistently used. 2015 is the first year, 6 games. 2016, 7 games. 2017, 5 or 6 games. 2018, 4 games.
It was 5, I think.
They swept.
Yeah, it was 4.
They swept LeBron up out of
it. It was 4 the second time.
So, what's that?
4 years?
15, 16 games probably in between all of that added up. And not once were you the main one taking that challenge at any point, regardless of the lineups on the floor.
But you had a more athletic defender on the team at all times. And Andre.
If you that's my thing. On the go,
if you look at that, all I'm saying is if you look at
that,
it hurts
your argument.
It does. I give you that. But what I'm saying is for that particular team, if you look at the 5 players that we put out on the court, who was the better defender for somebody athletic like LeBron, and who was better for a center like Kevin Love or a big man?
I said what I said, and you ain't gotta like it, but it's facts. It's facts.
I'm just saying.
I do see your point.
I'm making a fair point. I feel like I'm making a fair point. That team didn't call for him to have to guard LeBron because you have better, more athletic.
And this is all retrospectively, but all I'm saying is, you were so worried about what was the best thing at the time that at no point did you take on that challenge. And I feel like if you had done that, if you had gotten that Finals MVP for guarding LeBron, or you had done a good job of keeping him contained, even though you can never really contain LeBron, then I'd be like, you know what? In addition to the accolades and the resume, you did put some clams down on arguably the GOAT.
I give you that.
So then that would help your argument. I don't feel like you have enough. We don't believe you. You need more people, like Tony Allen said. I just don't feel like you have enough on the resume to say that you're the GOAT defender.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely one of the best. Definitely possibly the best in the NBA right now. But
I think
not
one of the best of this generation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So give me my grade so we can get to the W.
So I'm going to give you a grade
Talk about this man.
20 to 25.
So many years I'm going to be in the pen after beating you. So what is 20 to 25?
Listen. You got to let me explain that. That's a little more realistic to where he falls in an all-time category.
Damn.
Top 20 to 25.
That's fair.
Because the skill, I was Skip the Shannon. They named some people, and it's again the people. Like my argument for them for that is the people that they name are just physically more dominating than Draymond. So I feel like it does give him a little more, leeway. Yeah. But when he talks about mindset, like he may have one of the best defensive minds, but that's a little more realistic to say top 20.
That's fair.
Top 25. So that's my grade for you. But let's go ahead, move on in the show and start talking about, the W. So we got to continue our NBA.
All defensive first team 5 times for LeBron.
That's the same. But he's got,
and
Draymond's got
a vote away from
Draymond's
DPOY in 2013, 14.
Really?
Lost it to Marc Gasol.
I'm
just saying.
That's fair.
You know,
Which is another person he can't guard.
Marcus, oh my God, that's clamps.
in this day and age, absolutely. Prime Mark?
He could guard him.
I don't know about that one.
Okay.
What do you mean by that?
I think he could guard him.
I don't believe it. Anyway, WNBA.
Continuing
Time for
our
the team
overviews.
overviews.
We've gone through 2 teams so far. Went through who we do? Dallas. We didn't do Dallas. We did
Atlanta Dream. Chicago
Atlanta
Sky.
Dream and Chicago Sky. There it is. So we all moving on to Connecticut Sun.
It's only 10 teams, ain't it? Like
12
teams.
I couldn't think of it. I was thinking of alphabetical order. I couldn't think of it.
So you went with Dallas Wings?
Yeah. Because I wanted to do Dallas.
At the bottom.
Dallas got excited. Yeah. Anyway. So, Connecticut. I cannot say Connecticut for real. Connecticut Sun. Connecticut Sun is a team that we're doing this week.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually had a 10-12 record last season, but they made it to the WNBA semifinals last year. So they were actually one of the surprise teams to make it that far. Mm-hmm. I should have pulled this stuff up. I didn't. But we can go off top. That's all we know.
One take.
So a good portion of their team stayed. Like, really, most of the team.
They retained a lot of that roster, yeah.
Most of the team that they had last year, they were able to keep this year. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about Dewana Bonner, Jasmine Thomas, Alyssa Thomas, yeah. Brianna Jones. Those are the main 4 or 5 pieces on the team, and they kept that core. Mm-hmm. And I think from the looks of it, what I seen, they're going to try to. It looks like they like I said, they went 10-12 in the regular season last year, but they did make it to the semifinals. So I think what they're trying to do is they probably start to see some things click towards the end of the season.
Yeah,
they were able to push a Las Vegas Aces to what about? I think it was 4 games, 5 games, 4 games, 4 games. I think 4 games because it's a best of 5. So they pushed them to 4 games. So I think they saw they had things clicking. They actually have a good core and one that could be competitive and potentially make it further in the playoffs this season. So
they didn't really lose nobody. Bria Holmes ended up going to the Sparks, and Teresa, Plicence. I probably butchered her name. But she went to the Washington Mystics a couple weeks ago. So really, they didn't lose that many people. They lost a handful of players, but they retained a lot of that roster. And Beatrice had a pretty good rookie season last year. Mm-hmm. She's still coming back. And Brianna Jones had a real good season last year. Career high 11 points, 5 rebounds per game. She'll be back, as we already mentioned. So they might be able to hopefully develop that same core they had and just come out with a better result this year.
Their best 2 players are Dewana Bonner and Alyssa Thomas. So Dewana Bonner averaged 20 and 7. Mm-hmm. Alyssa Thomas averaged 15 and 7 as well. No, actually 15 and 9. I'm looking at defensive rebounds. 15 and 9 and 5 assists. So Alyssa Thomas is a guard.
Yeah.
Giving you 9 rebounds a game. And actually, I think at one point in the last season, she was leading the league in scoring, if I remember correctly. Or maybe that was leading the playoffs in scoring. Mm-hmm. It was one of the 2. She was leading the playoffs.
Dropping buckets.
Playoffs in scoring. So they have, 2 really good players. No different than the other top teams in the league have. Mm-hmm. At a guard, and Dewana Bonner is a big. So they have the pieces. And like you said, at the end of last season, it started to click. They made it through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, and they ran and then to kind of a brick wall. And I think we can both agree Aces probably have a little bit of a better squad. Yeah. But they did compete. They still beat them 2 games in the or 1 game in the 5-game set. So it's gonna be interesting. I think if they continue to click like they did, they're going to finish in the top half of the league.
They can do better than they did this year for sure.
I think, and 10 and 12 is probably a little underwhelming for them.
And some teams really catch their stride towards the end, and with their season being even shorter than it already was, it's hard to really build at any point when you only got 20 games to play.
Mm-hmm.
So they started putting it together a little bit, but with as short as their season was, it was kind of a too little, too late type situation.
Yep.
But clearly they saw that they got something. They just need to develop it a little more. So they kept the squad all intact. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
I don't see them going under 500 again this year.
No, I honestly think they should be able to at least finish top 3 or 4 in the league.
Top 3 to 5 for sure.
They have a good team. Like Bonner is a bucket.
Yeah.
Thomas is a bucket.
Absolutely.
So with those two alone, I think they should be able to win.
You even still getting quality
games.
buckets out of Jones and Jasmine Thomas. So you got some pretty well-rounded scoring efforts.
I like this squad actually.
Yeah.
Because actually this was the team that faced the Phoenix Mercury in the second round,
I don't want to talk.
and we didn't give them a chance.
I don't want to talk.
But they put in they did them kind of dirty in that second round playoffs. Listen, Thomas was hooping. So we'll see, man. This is gonna be one of my early favorite picks. I kind of like the team that they have, so we'll see.
For sure. So that's all for this week's team overview.
I like these overviews because it just gets us informed on the players.
And it helps us to also help you as the viewer because we always talk about we were working on being better at watching the NBA and paying attention.
This is good. This is good for us.
Yeah,
because we get familiar with the names, and if we do catch it
and all of that, so
we'll be able to know who's who.
But moving on to something that came out earlier this week, an issue with a jersey. Now, every now and then you'll catch a butchered jersey issue. Well, first and foremost, the issue really here to start was the jersey was leaked. Unfortunately, the time we live in, ain't nothing safe. The social media is everywhere. So you can't really post nothing or have anything to yourself. Yeah, nothing can ever be a surprise because somebody's going to leak it, publish it, post it, talk about it, whatever. So if I can get my telephone to cooperate so I can look at the picture again. We got a leaked jersey coming out, which first of all ruins the surprise. But then also the name on the jersey had a hyphen. And that woman ain't got no hyphen in her name.
Elena Deladine.
She ain't got no hyphen in there.
3 different words.
Why you got a hyphen in that? For what?
I don't know, because they don't know what they're doing. But what do you feel? I mean, what do you think about that? Like, is that a big deal?
It can happen. So part of me feels like, but I also feel like I kind of get her issue about, that wouldn't happen to a top player in the league.
Antetokounmpo has a really hard name, so if
they don't butcher.
I guarantee you, they didn't like you just have to fail to do research to get somebody's name wrong.
Doncic's name.
Easy.
All these players, Vucevic, Doncic,
it's an easy.
Bogdanovich got all
search.
these little accent marks and stuff like that. You don't mess that up either.
And I think her main point was that is DE.
Yeah.
LE, babe.
Yeah. They butchered that, and then also like I said, it was supposed to be it's the city edition jerseys. So those are supposed to be like a little kind of surprise thing, or maybe they'll eventually announce it. But my only thing with I don't see an issue with it getting leaked because it happens every year.
Right.
With the NBA, you always see what the new jersey is going to be before it actually comes out. And yeah, this lady is a 2-time MVP.
That's the
honestly,
thing. That's the.
If it was
I
a
think
bench
that was
player
their main
or a
issue.
scrub,
That was their main issue. Was the fact that she is
I'm not
top player, one of the top players in the league. So
I'm
that's
not
why
one of
Antetokounmpo is like a good comparison. It's like you had to obviously do research to spell Antetokounmpo's name. I don't care who the hell you are. You looked it up, so why can't you do that?
Can you spell it off the top of your head right now?
No, absolutely not.
A-N-T-E.
It's 2 T-E's, I think.
K-O-U-M-P-O is the Kumpo.
Yeah. We all know that. It's the
A-N-T-E-T-O-K-U-M-P. No.
T-E. A-N-T-E.
T-E.
T-E.
Y'all both wrong. Everybody had to spell it.
Oh, Jesus.
I knew it. Well, I screwed it up. I shouldn't even say nothing. I put you on the spot and I blew up my damn
I wasn't going to try.
But no, I don't. I'm just going to leave it.
You're wrong.
I don't want to embarrass myself. I'm just going to leave it. So anyway, yeah, she's not one of them. She's not some little scrub or something. So
You
like,
got to get that one right.
Yeah, you can't mess up.
Especially for a jersey put out. Like, this is what everybody going to see. Like, come on. That's slight work, Nike. Y'all got to do better than that.
Fix it.
Yeah, fix it, Jesus.
I almost went there. Getting into the NBA.
Yeah, it's NBA time, man. The Brooklyn Nets in this
The
last
nasty
week
Nets.
have been in the news a lot. They've been in the news a lot throughout the entire course of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But this, with the trade deadline, was what, last week?
Last week, yep.
And then they didn't make any trades, but they had a couple buyouts with
Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin. They were to get Blake Griffin through a buyout and a contract, and also get LaMarcus Aldridge through a buyout and a free agent.
Imagine how mad people would have been if Drummond went there too.
Hey.
Oh my God.
I
At first, before Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge, I really thought that was a very likely option.
I think once I saw LaMarcus was going there, I was like, okay, Drummond is going to LA.
To LA for sure. But before that, before those two acquisitions, and then I think they realized how good Claxton is. Before that, I really thought this is your biggest issue, is really needing a big. I can see Drummond. First of all, he wants to win a ring. Y'all need a decent center. But it didn't end up happening. But people are very upset about LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin.
Are you upset about them going? Like, what are your thoughts? I don't think we really talked about it.
On the lowest of keys, I like it. I think, for me, I'm over, like, being upset about that. After the Kevin Durant move, nothing else will ever, like, make me upset or shock me. Like, it kind of is what it is. That's the culture of today's NBA. The only thing that does upset me is this narrative that they were washed. You've been a firm believer that Blake has been ass for years. I've always firmly disagreed. As a fan of Blake and his game, I know he's not washed. He had some issues with injuries the last couple years, and Detroit is a horrible situation.
And my thing is, I don't think he's just washed now. I just always thought he was washed.
No, exactly. You always thought he was washed. So, like, you're an outlier there. But for people to be like, why are you mad? They're washed anyway. You all said that. No, anybody that actually watches the NBA knows that LaMarcus Aldridge easily is still a bucket. He's a phenomenal player.
Theo can't really stop him in the post.
His fadeaway, his no jump shot.
It's rare that you lose your jumper. Like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was like 40 in the NBA, but he could not. He was still unguardable to make this little sky hook. Still.
Nothing about LaMarcus's game requires youth or athleticism.
Yeah.
He literally just has a perfect touch.
Yeah.
From outside, from mid-range, in the post.
And then the thing about San Antonio is like there's a huge difference between, well, at first he was trying to be the number one option.
He was that guy.
But then Pop was slowly trying to transition into his younger guys and letting them be the number one option, and him not really getting the possessions, the touches. Exactly. Yeah. So now you put him, he's still not going to be the number one option, obviously, but he's going to get the touches to where and then the playoffs is a little bit different. In the playoffs,
don't be surprised if there's a death lineup. Yeah. Blake and LaMarcus will be that 4 and 5.
We'll see.
And I'm telling you, at one point, they're going to run it. They're going
to try.
And then how are you really going to guard it?
They're going to try, but we don't know if it's going to work.
I think it could work. Blake and LaMarcus Aldridge can both shoot threes. They don't have to be cutting or be under the basket or in the mid-range. You got 3 of the top 5 scorers on your team in James, Kevin, and Kyrie. Where do you really try to stop the ball there? Like, this isn't the Golden State 5 where it's like, I can slag off Draymond. Because he shoots like he has a book bag on. Right. Blake and Aldridge actually can hit threes, So you don't really know where you need to be if you put all 5 of them out there. So my only issue is stop trying to downplay the signing. Like, they're bad. No, they're both actually very talented, and they both can play meaningful minutes on any team, but especially this Brooklyn Nets team. So stop downplaying it. But it doesn't upset me. I think it's fun. I like LaMarcus Aldridge a lot. I've been a fan of Blake for years, so whatever. Go for it.
Follow-up question. So do you now know who's going to win the NBA championship this year?
I think it's just real hard to say. And what's really messed up is we were thinking about this because initially it's just Kyrie and Kevin. We were like, they got good chances, but it's up there.
That was enough for me. But
to me, it was still up there because no bench. Yeah. You hardly got a decent starting 5.
It was still a toss-up.
Those two and Joe Harris. Like, you still need something.
Still a toss-up.
But then once you got James, it was like, okay.
That's when I was like, okay.
I'm like, dang, that's kind of tough. Those 3.
That's when I was like, it's too many buckets, y'all.
That's not, like, that's very different than KD, Steph, and Clay.
Yeah.
Like Kyrie
No,
and Clay,
not really.
or Kyrie
It's
and Steph, not that much different, but James Harden as opposed to Klay Thompson. Because Clay did a lot of catching and shooting. Clay can get hot, but you don't have.
Not. I mean, it's still.
Clay is not the player that James is what I'm saying. So Clay is still. It's a hell of an offensive squad.
You get defense.
But when you
from
have,
Clay, so you got to factor in the defense from Clay.
Don't nobody give a damn about defense when you can score 150 points with those 3 scores. Kyrie can get hot, and he's a damn good shooter. Kevin Durant is one of the best shooters, and potentially he can say he's the GOAT scorer in the NBA, and I would never argue.
For me, it's the same.
And then James Harden is up there too.
It's the same. They both max out because it's listen. What I'm saying is Steph, KD, and Clay is like guaranteed championship. No different than the 3. That's what I'll say.
In the sense of guaranteed championship, yeah, obviously. But
that's what I mean. That's the ultimate goal.
There's bias there because you're a Golden State fan, so I get that you don't want to admit that. But this Brooklyn 3 is definitely a better and scarier 3.
It's like a max out. Like you can only win a championship. That's the most you can do in the NBA.
You get what I'm saying?
No, she don't. She don't.
I'm disagreeing with you.
You can only get an NBA championship. The only thing you can do to max it out is guarantee an NBA championship.
No.
And that's what they both do.
Out of Clay than
you don't need no fucking defense when you got them 3. You don't need no defense.
You still need
and who are you defending? Because who coming out the West that you really got to defend? you don't have to defend nobody.
The ultimate goal is the championship. You max out there. Guaranteed championship.
Anyway, I'm moving on from that. So my point is exactly. Oh, I need to defend Kawhi.
Paul George.
Oh, I need to defend playoff P. His ass ain't never going to no damn finals. So you ain't worried about him. Who are you guarding? Who are you worried about?
I get what you said.
Nobody.
You could say yeah, he's a MVP, and Clay never came close to really win MVP. But
I'm just saying the calibers of players.
Were more balanced.
I'm not knocking who Clay is. I'm not knocking his ability or his talent. But I'm just saying, James Harden as your shooting guard, you're not just worried about I gotta watch him cutting or catching and shooting. James is slicing and dicing you everywhere.
Yeah.
So you have a little more to worry about while you worried about who they gonna defend. Who the hell gonna defend that?
Yeah, you get,
Kyrie over here dribble.
You get the same result just from different areas.
It's
play.
It's a totally different thing. Like you can't really even check Clay, but you know what Clay is gonna do.
I like this.
James can either catch and shoot and kill you. He can dribble, drive, kill you. He can penetrate, and you don't know. Clay is not doing that. That's my point. You know what to expect. And now, am I right or am I wrong?
You're not
exactly.
wrong.
Exactly.
You're not wrong,
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is, it's like guaranteed championship is the
What
best
happened,
you
dude?
can
Shut
do.
up. Look.
That's all right. Guaranteed championship. That's the best you can get in NBA.
All I'm saying, I'm not really mad at. I understand why people are pissed off, because from the perspective of like competition, it would have been nice to see LaMarcus go to Miami or say Boston, the people that really need a big man and not another small forward like Evan Fournier.
I don't think it's that, though. I think it's just we
for
started out this entire season saying, damn, every team is evenly balanced right now.
Last year was even, and then to start this year, we were like, you took 2 All-Stars and moved them to Brooklyn. Brooklyn is now for sure a contender. Everything is still pretty even.
But I like to see this. It's Brooklyn's time. Brooklyn ain't did this shit since, 2002?
Brooklyn tried to do it in like 2013.
I didn't ask you what they tried to do.
And
Lord
Jesus. So,
that's another one.
From that standpoint, it's like, whatever. I'm not really mad at it. Just for the sake of, like I said, parity, the way the last year started off and this season started off, you thought, okay, now we got to do some balance.
And I've not ever seen this. Ever.
The closest
I've seen
and here's my issue.
Kyrie and James.
People are trying to make it seem like it's like when the Lakers went and got Karl Malone and Gary Payton. They were certified trash at that point. They were dog water. LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin aren't washed. Like Gary and Karl were. That was just to be signed and some
like
shit.
Saying,
they were not.
That's
you know
like
what I'm saying?
honestly saying Kevin Love is washed. No, Kevin Love is on a bad team.
Low key free Kevin, and I'm telling you, Kevin might mess around and go to the Lakers.
I forgot he's actually still in the NBA.
Kevin is chilling, collecting a check. He is just on the bench like this.
Does he play?
No. Kevin played like to start this year, a couple games, and it was like.
But he's sick of the bullshit. He's Brad, but he's more LeBronish. Like, I'm gonna cry about it and sit on the bench and not help y'all. There's nothing.
At one
wrong
point,
with
Kevin
him.
was actually injured though. At one point, he was injured.
Right now.
Steph was injured the whole year last year. It was the same thing. Steph knew his team was ass, and he broke his hand a week in the season and was like, oh, well, my whole hand shattered. I'll never heal from this.
He had nerve damage.
I was going to say, boy, if you don't shut up.
He had nerve damage.
Nerve damage.
He had nerve damage.
Okay, you're getting on my damn nerves. Forget your damage.
Damn, man. I miss
Anyway, you miss your granny. I miss my granny, man. Yeah. So anyway,
another follow-up question: who's to blame for this team-up mentality? Who watching? Cam, you watching? Who do you blame for this team-up mentality? Who's to blame?
I gotta say, I didn't used to really agree with this, but at this point, I'll let people have it. It's LeBron. But my only thing is...
Wrong.
My only thing is, who would you say? Boston Celtics?
Boston Celtics.
That's who I used to go to all the time.
That's old shit. You bring up old shit.
Okay.
It's the Boston Celtics.
Here's what I'll say. Boston crawled so LeBron could walk so KD could then run. Because Boston did their thing.
Cam, question is, who's to blame for this team-up mentality that we now have in the NBA?
LeBron. Boston went and did their little trades and whatever and put together a hell of a roster. Let's not act like they didn't.
They had, yeah.
Rondo will be in the Hall of Fame at some point. Paul Pierce potentially, and is a hell of a player. Kevin Garnett is on his way to the Hall of Fame, I believe. Ray Allen will be one of these days. Like, they put together a hell of a team and had some decent bench pieces too. So then LeBron, that Miami roster was
forced.
No, he was forced into it. But the only thing you can say with LeBron, like, the front office did most of that stuff with the Celtics, right? You know, there was definitely some phone calls with LeBron and D-Wade and all of them, like, hey, who trying to come to Miami? Who trying to come? Because that was like a whole new roster when he first got there, basically. And every year he was there was bringing in more and more pieces. More and more pieces. So then Kevin said, okay, you know what? I'm not going to have to do the hard work. Y'all 73-9. Get Harrison Barnes' ass up out of there. Let me slide in that little 3 spot. But once I go to my own team, oh, yeah, me and Kyrie's 2 max slots be chilling. Shit. James Harden, put on the fat suit. Blake Griffin, sit your ass down. Have them deactivate you. Marcus Aldridge, you know they're going to trade you or buy you out. You better come here first. And all we heard with Aldridge, Miami.
To not call me, but I was like, okay, maybe he realized. I knew he was going to call me. Are we back up?
We should be fine.
Just a second.
But anyway, the league wouldn't let Chris Paul. I'm tired of hearing that too because it wasn't the same. Chris Paul was on the Hornets, who were owned by the NBA.
Were they?
Yes, at that moment. So how am I really gonna get any value out of this team if I get rid of your best asset and then trade it to the Lakers, who are the juggernaut of the league? I'm trying to get this team off the books. And the Clippers aren't that good. We'll send them out there, and then I can still get some type of profit out of this team.
It's still Boston because it's Boston. They teamed up first.
PG was already on his team, fool. That don't count. Blake Griffin and Chris Paul locked DeAndre Jordan in the damn house.
They threw him a party.
Anyway, so I feel like there's been phases.
It's Boston.
Boston did that thing.
Boston started it.
LeBron
forced
took it a little
LeBron
further.
to go to Miami. Because the thing about what people don't realize is Boston teamed up. They teamed up in Boston because of LeBron James.
No. I wholeheartedly agree
because
with that.
of LeBron James.
The only thing I would say is the approach.
Because they saw a 22-year-old make it to the finals before all of them, and they said, wait a minute.
What I will
say,
he's
22. Ain't no way if we on our own separate teams, we can't make it past him.
I think they blame LeBron for the approach to it, and also they just don't want to fault the 80-year-olds.
That's bullshit.
It was
that's
them.
Bull.
But
it is LeBron's fault.
No, you're a Celtics fan.
Bull.
Shut up.
That's bullshit because
Boo.
It's
they teamed up because of LeBron.
Listen, that's BS because they had to get together to figure out they wanted to play in Boston too.
Her, bro. Shut up, Derek.
They had to waive their no trade clauses in order for them to get to Boston. They called up Ray Allen and was like, "Hey, we doing this thing in Boston. We got to do this." Like
it
was a whole team up mentality.
You know who really
gotta
started
blame?
This? Here's who started
Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. They started this.
Here's who started this.
It wasn't LeBron. LeBron did it because he had no other choice but to join Dwayne Wade in order to beat the Boston Celtics. They wasn't gonna do it by themselves.
You don't see a nerve popping out your neck, young man. Jason. Let's take a little quick commercial break.
Let me switch, y'all.
It won't let you switch.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, back on.
ain't no commercial break.
Yeah.
Well, disregard technical difficulties. It does happen. But what I was saying before we transition into our
Was
next
you on there the
topic.
whole time?
No, you weren't. It started the commercial, and then it just stopped. It wouldn't allow it to play.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well,
shout out to Taylor Gents, even though your commercial not working right now. I'm just playing. But yeah, if you need all your custom clothes, your suits and stuff, man, look at these books,
grab one of
man.
them shoes, man. Look at this.
Sorry,
look at
girl.
this.
I mean, if I look at that, man.
You see that? You see that material?
That velvet?
Look at the colors, man.
Is that velvet?
Look at the colors.
This is beautiful, man. Look at that. No, that's fly though, for real. Look at the bottom.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
Big
Custom
crib
clothes
energy.
there. Get you all this stuff, for the free ball. No, I'm just playing. It's very much
You
so
put
not
that
free.
back up there.
But yeah, man.
What I will say, also, people want to keep pointing fingers at LeBron. You know who is just as much to blame? The media. Because you slaughter me if I don't win a ring.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, you want me to win a ring so bad?
You do not get
Hey,
no,
I can take you there.
You do not get to blame the media for this.
Yes,
shit.
you do.
The media ain't affecting
Yes, you
Brad.
do.
The media ain't affecting Giannis. You do not.
Brad
get to blame
can't
the
go
media.
nowhere because they refuse. They refuse.
You gotta be strong.
The only reason they got rid of John Wall.
Hey, no,
Strong
shout out to Dame though. They got a legitimate chance. I think if they actually were to win a championship, it would change a lot of things.
That would be one of the
wouldn't
few
be,
organically won championships in a minute.
No, Warriors did.
No. True. What's them people?
Yeah,
name?
no.
Before the
Trail-
Warriors, it
Dinosaurs.
was the Mavs.
Raptors.
The Mavs is who I was thinking, but you're right. That first year that
And
the
the Raptors. I
Warriors
mean,
won
you
it.
can kind of give it to the Raptors. All they did, they organically built. They just had a
Yeah,
good signing.
they added in Kawhi.
Good trade, yeah.
So the Raptors too.
So
The only,
Raptors,
once you
Warriors,
go to
and
those
Mavs.
wins, the only thing you can really fault them on is injuries. Which I mean, I ain't had no control over that. You know what I'm saying? But it would be if they win a ring, I'd be very happy.
I really would like to see Portland win a championship. But
Speaking
it's gonna
of
be tough.
Portland, though,
They don't play enough
going
defense.
quickly over trade winners and losers, they snagged Norman Powell, which is a hell of a pickup for them.
Yeah, and they need some defense.
Yeah.
So, I just said they don't play any defense. He's a good piece.
Granted, you lost Gary Trent Jr., so you lost some potential there, but
Gary Trent
Norman
Jr.
Powell-
really hasn't been that great, other than the first upwinding games in the bubble. Like that's
I think
that
just
carried.
the other night with the Raptors, he had a hell of a game.
Did he? But
Nobody cares.
that opening, his opening up, how he started in the bubble has like literally carried him as far as the media mindset up until this point.
Exactly.
Like he hasn't really done. He didn't do much after that.
He
like,
didn't do anything
come playoffs.
before.
Yeah, he didn't do anything before, but come playoffs that season, he wasn't really as good as he was in that.
What else was there to do in the bubble?
Moving on,
Moving on,
Miami got Victor Oladipo, which that's a name that's been tied to Miami for a little while.
Yeah.
So it's not really shocking. And I think
Are they winning right now? Because they playing my
The Heat.
Warriors.
I hope they are.
Quit hating, bro.
I hope y'all get waxed every chance.
You're a hater, dude. Just because
Every
you got...
chance.
Ugh. Computer going slow per usual. Damn.
Y'all getting y'all ass waxed.
We're losing by 7. Shut up.
They're gonna lose. There's 7 seconds left. They're losing by 7 with under 10 seconds left. Let me see the box go. Yo, you don't even want to look. You sure? I can take you there.
Man, they got Victor
I just want to see how much Oladipo got.
Yeah, you doing.
Yeah, they got Oladipo. You gave up Kelly Olynyk, which good, about time. He's trash.
Who was the biggest winner of the trade deadline?
Yellow.
If you don't know where we at. Anyway, damn, Steph had 36, still getting waxed. How does it feel?
Y'all lost. The game is over.
I just want to see the box score. Who did win the trade? Oh, the Boston Celtics. You got Evan Fournier, who in his debut got 0 points.
Did he?
0 points.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Do better, Boston.
Yeah. You know who won the trade? Mo Bamba, because he finally gets to play now. The Vucevic is out of there. Honestly, though.
He only got 6 points.
Honestly, though.
Victor Oladipo only got 6
the
points.
Nuggets won. The Nuggets won, for sure.
But he got a lot more playing time than I would expect him to get.
Who?
Victor.
What?
I don't know. I just
minutes.
yeah. I mean, he got the same as Iggy.
Gordon's always kind of hurt. Kendrick Nunn didn't play at all.
That's not a lot for Victor.
They actually managed their minutes really well. They balanced it out.
You're looking at prime Victor. I'm looking at post-hurt Victor. Like
even Victor now is still a bucket. Honestly,
Yeah,
they just balanced his minutes out real well with.
He was getting.
You have Jimmy and Bam out there who can
right.
still ball handle.
You're right.
So they balanced his minutes out real well with
They got the
Iguodala.
Great White Hope still on there, so you can't outdo them.
Boy. And Duncan Robinson. Hey, I'm going to put my white boys in the game, my boy. Got to. But the Nuggets definitely won. The Nuggets got rid of Gary Harris, which is something that I said that they should do when the season started. I said that that's somebody they needed to trade.
Oh, yeah.
And they got Aaron Gordon, who's a hell of a pickup. And in that Nugget system, I'm sure he'll do just fine. And they already have a pretty good team. So you only got better. You didn't lose anything.
No, the biggest NBA trade deadline winners is us, dog. We call that trade.
I thought you were talking about the Warriors. I was like, bro,
No,
y'all
I'm
didn't
talking
do
about you and me.
Okay.
I'm talking about you and me,
That's true.
man.
That's true. We called a lot of these.
We called the Magic blowing it up.
Uh-huh.
We said Evan Fournier was gonna get traded.
Yeah.
We said Denver Nuggets getting Aaron Gordon was a good pickup for them, and something. I remember you saying that. I was supposed to look up the clip, but I didn't. But I'm pretty sure because you was like that was gonna bring some athleticism to that team, something that they needed. And then there was somebody you just said. Who was you just talking about? You was talking about the Nuggets?
Gary Harris.
Gary Harris.
They needed to move
we talked about
I said they needed to move him and Will Barton.
Yes. Did they move Will Barton?
I don't remember if they did or
I
not.
don't think they did.
But I got half of it.
We're the biggest winners, man. We
made some solid.
It lets y'all know that
yeah.
we know what we be talking about sometimes.
That's why me and Adrian trying to own a NBA team at some point. So we gonna have to get you in that front office, my boy. I don't even do that standards no more.
You should. Y'all was already wrong to begin with.
Yeah, we ain't gotta do that. We can honestly go to Petty Betty of the Week. Petty Betty of the Week. Oh, Russ.
You know what? I can
That's
make
your
Russ
topic.
my speaker and shout.
No, I mean I want to kind of.
You wanna talk about it?
Well-
Okay. So here's what I'll say.
No, I really don't. That could be a speaking shot.
Okay, never mind. So Petty Betty. Yeah, I really want to talk about it. Okay, so never mind.
I don't really got nothing to say.
Petty Betty, Kevin Durant. You big bitch, you just soft as hell. Listen,
Come on,
no.
man.
I'm sorry.
Like I don't know why y'all like. It's not. That's not cool, not just but
I was gonna say you too, then, nigga. What's up?
man, hey, I like KD. He get a lot of flack.
You know what
Some
y'all
of it
got in
deserved.
common? You know what y'all got in common?
Go ahead and say.
You lanky and soft.
Some of it's deserved.
Soften up.
Some of
son.
it's deserved, but
A lot of it is deserved.
He's smarter than.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. When it comes to hating on NBA players, there's a good percentage of just trolling.
Yeah.
That comes with being an NBA player, so I'm gonna talk stuff about you just to, you know what I'm saying,
right.
just to be hating. And then there's when the hate comes in and it's deserved. LeBron deserves some of the hate he gets. Some of his criticism is BS, because like, why are you just looking for stuff to mess with this man about? But a lot of it is deserved based on things you've done. And Kevin Durant did the biggest bitch move in the history of NBA.
That's not
so
deserved.
It's deserved. It's deserved. You joined the 73 and 19.
He made a business
Did
decision.
Hakeem go to the 72 and 10 Bulls?
He made a business
That would have been
decision.
deserved. It's a business decision. I'll give you that. It's fine.
And you was just getting on the media about,
He could have won a ring in Boston. He could have won a ring in Miami. He didn't have to join 73 and 9
There's a difference. What we just say. There's a difference between a chance at winning the ring, coulda, and a guaranteed ring. It's a big difference.
All I'm saying.
Point blank period.
73 and 9.
I would rather
It's a
go to a
business
team where it's
decision.
guaranteed than it's a,
Hey, Petty Betty, my segment.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So, It's a business decision.
You're right.
It's a business decision, and I get that. I'm fine with that. I've made peace with that. It's a business decision.
He don't need hate for that. Is all I'm saying.
No. It's deserved. It's deserved. Whether or not you want to accept it, you deserve to get talked shit about because it was a weak move. It got you a ring. It buffed your resume. Cool.
This is domino effect.
That's what it's supposed to do.
Started with Boston. We just talked about it. That's what I'm saying. It's domino effect.
Hey, did LeBron go to Miami to get a guaranteed ring?
Cause
Absolutely.
effect.
And it worked, right? You still did a bitch move doing all that decision BS and all of that.
LeBron only got, he don't got the hate as much. He don't got the hate as much because he went back to Cleveland. That's the only reason. It's the same difference.
Petty Betty is Kevin bitch made the rent, all right? And let me tell you why. So one of his fans the other day was like, "Hey man, you doing?" Funny. He's funny. I still follow him on Twitter because he's funny. Like it's funny to me how petty you are. I enjoy it. Somebody was like, "Look, man, you doing all this back and forth with these fans and Michael Rappaport. Look, send me a signed jersey and a couple pairs of shoes instead."
This is so stupid. You a grown man, bro. Come on, man.
You a grown man.
And he got a check mark.
Cue the Offset. Grown man. End of the day. Grown man. Hey, what KD say? Grow up. Yeah, you. Grow up.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Somebody else said so. It was like,
You asked.
Grow up, my bad.
Yeah, these Balenciagas, boy. Watch your step. Felicity. You watched. Why did I say watch? I don't know. Anyway, look, you sound dumb as a grown man asking for a signed jersey and a couple pairs of shoes.
That was what got me.
Some shoes?
A couple pairs of shoes.
Not a pair of signed shoes.
A couple
Not
pairs.
a signed jersey. A signed jersey and some shoes, my boy. Kevin Durant said.
I could have asked for one signed shoe. Like when you signed that one.
Yeah.
Just let me get the left shoe signed, my boy. That's it.
He said a couple pairs of
Give me a couple pair of shoes, size 10.
I
This
will
is my
block you
time
too.
to shoot myself.
He said, well,
You don't shoot
hey,
against a shooter.
Kevin Durant said, I've been playing defense all day. I got time. So you know what stat he went for? He ain't respond. He ain't dignified. He ain't. No. Hey, man screenshotted his tweet and then screenshotted Easy Money Sniper blocked you. KD Trey 5 blocked you. He said, you know what? I'm not even finna do this with you.
Give you my time, bro. And that's the thing. You grown. You're not a kid. You on Twitter with a check. Like, you have a check mark. So you not a random. It's not a fake account. That's what gets me.
Give me a couple pairs of
You
shoes,
have a
Kev.
check mark asking another grown man for a signed pair of shoes. That's ridiculous.
Give me a couple pair of shoes and a jersey, my
That's
boy.
donkey of the day, for real.
Donkey of the day
Donkey
and
of
Petty
the day
Betty.
is
He's a jackass
you
for
did
asking.
something that deserved you to be a donkey, and that's exactly
Bro,
what you are.
Kevin Petty is hell. You just gonna block that man.
Kevin Petty Betty, the dude who asked is donkey of the day. That's stupid.
Hey. My hair hurt, bro. Speaking of shout.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be speaking, opening day was today.
Oh, baby, give a damn about
Cardinals,
the Ku Klux
baby.
Cardinals.
Cardinals, we started off hot, 1-11
Cardinals
6
is
today.
spelled with 3 K's to start, just so we know. The Cardinals. I ain't trying to hear that.
I don't even want to talk about that no more. Because you're not wrong.
Talk about this white man's franchise on this black-owned show. You think I give a damn about the white man's sport on the white man's team?
It's still my team, though, man. It's my quarterback.
Just say it. What are you?
I'm cooning for the Cardinals.
I'm gonna get you a shirt made and say I'm cooning for the Cardinals. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm hot, bro. I'm hot.
You said they got a black dude. That's what you say.
We
every
got
year.
one.
They got a black
Hey,
dude.
guys, come on. We have to sign one.
They got a black dude.
We're in a real black city. We gotta at least get one of them.
Oh, man.
We gotta appease them somehow.
Funny. I don't even want to talk about them no more.
The Cardinals.
You're right. It's hard to talk about them. They still my team, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things.
Hey, root for the home team.
Uh,
What you gotta say?
I'm trying to think of something else.
Say what you said. Say the joke. Say what you said.
Cardinals, I'm softly speaking this week. Cardinals, or maybe I should do like the little the commercials on radio. Cardinals are really good this year. I'm going to talk about how good they're going to be. Hopefully they can win the World Series. I'm done.
The Cardinals will never win nothing as long as they are stuck in the clutches of the white man. Until they hire some black staff, some black players, they will never be winners. In my book.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you speaking of shouting this week. It was very insightful.
Let me be a part of the ownership group. Let me be like the Jay-Z to the St. Louis Cardinals. Like what Jay-Z is in the NFL.
I feel like that'd be a great idea.
Do that to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, for
they
sure.
need a little color in their organization.
You light as hell. So you gonna start
But the both of us are what? Darker.
Just now barely beating brown paper bag you.
Hey, bro. Stop responding to negativity on the internet and hook one of your fans up with a few pairs of kicks and a signed jersey. Plus, I hope y'all win it all this year. Block. He said, man, hey, what that white man on Boondock said, you don't get that shit out my face. Listen, man, look.
Who the hell is Calvin? You know what Calvin is? Why you been saying that? I didn't get it.
Oh, you said something about paying the full earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, look. Sounds like Josh has nothing, so I'm going to take you on out with speaking of shop. Only thing.
You killed my buzz. Buzzkill.
Watch your little balloon go.
Yeah.
Only thing I would
it's only did work because you're not wrong.
That's the point. Is
And I
the
forgot.
Whoo! Okay. I want to speak this week on needing an Advil. My hair hurt. It's been a funny show, y'all. I wanted to speak on Stephen A. Smith / Russell Westbrook. Stephen A. had some criticisms, to a degree, some of it was fair, about Russ. He had a 34 point, 21 assist and 11 rebound game or something like that. Something crazy. A record-breaking triple-double. It's never been done before. So a history-making triple-double, I should say. And also broke the franchise record of the Wizards for triple-doubles.
That didn't take long.
And once, yeah. Well, him and Harden did it like the same night. Harden had tied the most triple-doubles for the Nets with Jason Kidd, and then Russ are like within a day or two of each other. So they've been hooping. Just one of them is on a super team, so there's that. So Stephen A. had some criticism. Basically, his point that he said he was trying to make was, I no longer care about your numbers because I know that you can do it. It's no longer, to me, like if Luka does something, Zion does it, it's impressive. But I've seen you do it. You've averaged a triple-double 2 years in a row. You're currently averaging one now. You've won an MVP. You've been a leading scorer. Where's the ring? And Russ said, as far as people's criticism on him, I'm a champion in life. I grew up in the hood, basically. I'm from the streets. I made it to the league. Once I made it to the league, I was a champion in life. My legacy doesn't stop or get made or broken based on me winning a ring. I'm helping my community. He's building a school. He does a lot of charity work. He did a lot of work in Oklahoma. I do things that help the community and the people in this world and the people around me. I'm not really worried about a ring. A lot of people took that to mean he doesn't care. That would be stupid. Everybody wants to win. He just is understanding I'm not going to cry if I don't get one. Because in general, I had a good career and did a lot off the court. Right? My only problem comes with Stephen A. brings up the teammates you've had. And at one point he mentioned Reggie Jackson. Like that was really going to help. Victor Oladipo, who wasn't the Victor that he was when he went to Indiana. Who credited Westbrook for being that player, by the way. You talk about Kevin Durant. That OKC roster had 2 healthy years between when they went to the finals and when they went to the Western Conference Finals, and those were the 2 years. Every year in between that, one of the 2 of them was hurt. Or Ibaka was hurt. There goes that. You play the Jazz. Paul George get his ass bust by an Australian dude. Melo does nothing. There's that. The one year you can say is his fault. Dame went crazy. Paul George had a decent series even though he got bust. Russ played horrible. But other than that, like, you really can't blame any of this solely on Russ. And also, you love Allen Iverson, who never won anything. But you praise him all day. And then you sit there and talk so bad about players not winning, and then when they go and do the super team thing, it's a problem. It's bad for the league. So all I'm saying is, you can't pick and choose. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Either you want to let these guys ball, grind it out authentically, and if it happens, it happens, or you want them to take the cheap way out. But don't shit on me for not getting it, and then shit on me for taking the easy way too. Then you want to talk about Bradley Beal. The Wizards are terrible. Even if they made it to the playoffs, they get waxed first round by Brooklyn or Philadelphia. So it wouldn't matter. That's all I got to say about it. It was kind of a stupid thing, but I like the Russ always takes the high road. Kevin would have just blocked him. That would have been funnier, but I liked it.
Yeah, Russ, take the bait. Do
Stephen
better.
A. said, let me get a couple pairs of kicks on a signed jersey. Oh, by the way, I hope y'all win it all, too, now that I'm done begging.
Sounds stupid. That's gonna do it. We appreciate you. Thanks, Cam, stopping through and commenting. We appreciate that, man. Everybody else, if you stopped through, appreciate you.
They've been winning without the black man.
He's still talking about Cardinals.
When's the last time they won something, Cameron? Listen, we'll save it for next
2
week.
years ago. We'll see y'all next week, man. We're gonna be back. We had a hiatus, but we're gonna be here. See y'all next Thursday.